Hey guys, Peter here from the Hidden Online Living YouTube channel, and here in this video I'm going to show you some ways of how you can make money on Fiverr without doing the work. So make sure to keep watching the whole way through this video, and I'm going to show you some of the processes that you can utilize to be able to earn a side income using services on Fiverr. So that way then you can potentially earn an income. And I want to go over some of the trials and some of the issues that you can actually face as well when you're trying to do this sort of work, and what you do need to be aware of to move forward. So if you are new to this channel and you're finding content like this here to be helpful, please be sure to leave a like on the video. Also subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to be updated whenever I release future content, and also feel free to share the video. Also, if you are looking for an honest and simple way to get started on your own online journey and you want to figure out the steps in which to do so, make sure to check out the link below in the description to find out more. So how do you make money on Fiverr without actually doing the work? Primarily you'll be using an idea that's actually been around for pretty much a long time in terms of business, and that is known as arbitrage, and it's also known as drop servicing. Essentially what you do is someone will come to you looking for you to complete certain tasks or to do a specific job, and what you do is you outsource that job to someone that you know that actually can do it. What you will do is you'll set a price initially with the person that's coming to you looking for a particular job. You'll set a job price of say $50 or $100, but then you will go to another area and then you will outsource that work then to someone else who can do it, but that won't charge as much. So you can charge them maybe $30 or $40 for that, and then that way then you can keep the rest and give the content back to the person that originally was asking for it, so you can gain a profit from it. So that's essentially what you would do. Essentially this is how most businesses actually work. So when you're coming into Fiverr, what you can actually do is you can set up a gig on Fiverr. You can do like say voiceover messages, you can say I can create a website, you can do logo design, you can do social media management. Then what you can actually do is you can go to places like forums, you can go to like Craigslist, you can go to Reddit and even other well-known forums, and you can search for advertisements for people actually looking for specific tasks and jobs that they require to be done. People may need, like as mentioned, have a website built. They may need someone to build them a landing page. They may need to set up an email account. They may need some sort of thumbnails for their YouTube videos, or some sort of flyers or advertisements or printed flyers or so forth to be able to be designed. Then what you can do then is go back to Fiverr, and on your gig then you can put up those preferences to say that you can do all those things. But then what you can actually do is you can look at the specific categories that Fiverr has to offer, and what you can literally do is you can find other people within the platform that are already doing what you're looking to get done, and you can set a price with them. You can also set a price like I mentioned where with the initial vendor, say for like you can charge like $50 or $100 to get a particular task done, and in this case you can literally go then to a graphic designer on Fiverr and get them to design the logo. They will only charge you like say $10 to do that logo, and then you can go and send it back to that other person that originally got the job from either say Craigslist, Reddit or wherever you got the job from, and they'll be good to go. And then what will happen is, say if you got $100 for that job, you will have paid $10 or $15 to the person on Fiverr, but you keep the rest of the money, so you straight away are earning a profit, and technically it's not really costing you anything. You can also, there's loads of different avenues that you can actually take. Another place that you can check out is Facebook. You can check out groups. There's loads of different job groups online where there's always people actually looking to promote their services, but people are also asking for particular tasks to be done. This is another great way to literally put your services out there. You can get involved with these groups, try to build up your brand, build up communications with people and try and build trust, and the chances are you can put up advertisements saying that you can do particular jobs or tasks. You can do graphic design, or you can design logos for people, or people may even ask you. So then straight away that's when you will go to Fiverr and you will actually then hire a designer to literally create what it is that you're looking for. And it doesn't have to be just graphic design. It can literally be digital marketing services. It can be writing and translation, transcriptions, copywriting, even voiceovers. You can do video editing, music production, anything that people are looking for. You can jump on Fiverr and find somebody that can actually do the stuff that's related to that topic or area, and that way then you can go back and forth with those people people to actually complete the task at hand, get them to do the work for you, and then you can just relay content back to the customer. Now that works really well, but there is pros and cons that do come into play here when you're actually trying to piece these things together. Because what can actually happen a lot of the times, and especially when you're doing work for other people, you have to be aware of that it takes time to put all these steps together. Because say if you're doing any sort of design work and people want particular, like say logos or graphics and stuff done, people will have an initial idea of what they want their content to look like. And what will happen is at some point during the process of creating the content, if you do hire someone, the initial person that looks to get the job done may change some tasks, or they may change some features of how they want certain things to look. So they are going to refer back to you of the things that they want changed. So then it's your job then to go and refer back to your content designer that you've hired on Fiverr to make those changes. Now that can work, but it does take time. There is a big time element involved here, because it depends on not only how long it will take for you to relay that message, also there's time involved for that person to be able to create those changes that you need and bring them back to you so that you can then present them to your customer. But another con as well that can happen too is there can be definitely like language barriers involved too, because a lot of people on Fiverr do come from different types of countries as well, so there'll be different languages involved and there's loads of different variations. So when you're trying to explain something to somebody that's actually from a different country, they may not understand straight off what you're trying to get across to them. Like you could ask them to design a flyer that all you need is just like simple like text, but they may interpret it wrong and they could end up misspelling certain words, which means then you have to keep going in and making alterations and making changes and trying to go back and forth with that designer to try and make sure that everything is actually correct, because you want that to be correct then when you go to present it to your customer. And ideally what you want to do is you want to make sure as well that you want to get everything working and correct within the first couple of attempts. You don't want to let it take too much time, because the more time that it takes to do even like say a particular job, the more stressed and anxious the customer may get, and it will actually put stress on you as well, because you have to remember you're kind of the go-between. You're like the middleman in all of this. You're taking the job that someone's asking you to do and then you're presenting it to someone else to do the work for you, and then you have to kind of go back and forth between the two. So sometimes there can be a massive disconnect there. So you really do need to be able to communicate and be confident in communicating with both parties, because again you want to be able to convey your message to your customer, but at the same time you want to be also able to instruct the person that you've hired to do the work to do the job really well. And if you can do that, then you should be good to go. But just know that there are some trials and tribulations that you do and will come across at different points, and language barriers and mistakes are inevitable and they will eventually happen. So it is up to you to make sure that you have everything covered, all areas covered, that you proofread everything and make sure that if something's not right, that you can actually still relate and make those subtle changes. Ideally, when you're wanting to do these type of methods, if you want to get involved with creating some sort of service and relaying it onto somebody, when you're first doing it, ideally as a beginner, you want to have some sort of knowledge in these areas. If you're going to be doing writing, for instance, if you want to do like writing articles or email copy or even likes of digital marketing or graphic design, you need to have some familiarity with those areas, or even some background, or even have done some of the work yourself, so that you know that if something isn't right, that you know how to fix things, that you know how to lay out things, and maybe even make tweaks to some files and that yourself. Because if you don't have that background and you don't have that knowledge, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to convey your message across to a potential customer, because the chances are that customers will pick up on your lack of knowledge very, very quickly, and that will lead them to go elsewhere, and it's very, very hard then for you to build up trust and build authority, because people won't recommend you. So ideally what you need to do is you do need to be able to have some sort of background or some sort of knowledge in those key areas, especially if you're wanting to do like of these tasks like doing drop servicing and arbitrage when you're relaying content onto other people. You do need to have some formal knowledge to be able to communicate and relate your ideas and the customer's ideas onto the person that you're going to hire to do the work for you, and that you can convey it back to the customer. So you do need to not only have communication, but you do need to have a good background knowledge of these key areas that you want to get involved in if you're looking to do this type of work. And just to know that that a lot of this here, even though like when you go on to the likes of YouTube, a lot of places will say that you can make $100 in a day and you can make money very quickly. There is a possibility that you can do that, but it isn't always realistic, because a lot of this stuff actually takes a lot of time. It could take a couple of hours to it could take a couple of days, even a couple of weeks sometimes, depending on the level of tasks and depending on the skill sets of the people that's been hired, and even depending on your level of confidence and your skill set to be able to convey a message and to be able to put pieces together. So there's so many factors in play. Or just to know that to do this type of work, yes, you can build a business with this online and you can make it sustainable over time, but just know that it is going to take time to be able to put all these pieces together, because again, you do have to take into account the time that it takes to get certain jobs done, the time it takes to email and communicate with your clients, the time it takes for you to convey your messages and put all your content together, and then you have to deal with mistakes. So if there is kind of changes to documents and there's things that need to be addressed, you do need to cater in the fact that those things are going to happen, and time can play a massive factor, and it can eat into your time, and ideally you don't want jobs to take on too much or take on too much time and leaving it that it's taking too long, because the client could have a deadline where they may have, say, a flyer or some sort of business deal coming up and they want to have relevant advertisement content ready to go for it. But if you're taking too long with that, that's putting them under severe pressure, and it's putting you under pressure as well. And it's putting the designer under pressure to get stuff out and to make sure that it's actually right. So you do have to actually think of all those areas, all the pros and even the cons as well, because there's so many things that can happen, but so many things can also go wrong in that process. So it's just something to be aware of. Yes, you can definitely build an online business with this, but just take note of all these factors, as I mentioned in the video, that you do have to be aware of these key areas in order to actually build this into a sustainable business long term. But as long as you're aware of that and you build up those skills and you can build up your communication skills and you know how to relay your messages to both parties, you will definitely be able to grow a sustainable business online using Fiverr. So I hope you found this video to be helpful. I really do hope it's given you some insight as to some of the processes that you do need to be aware of if you're looking to make money on Fiverr without doing the work. So if you have found this video to be helpful, please be sure to leave a like on the video. Also subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to be updated whenever I release future content, and also feel free to share the video. Also, if you are looking for an honest and simple way to get started on your own online journey and you want to figure out the steps in which to do so, make sure to check out the link below in the description to find out more. And again, I will see you all in the next one.